Hey pretty people, I can tell you one thing very specifically. With so much innovation happening today with AI, with so much content available on YouTube, with so many paid and free courses of very high quality, acquiring skills has become incredibly easy, and it's only going to get easier in the future. But acquiring those skills is only 30% of the game in freelancing. The other 70% is finding clients to sell those skills. That's client hunting. And this is where many freelancers fall short. So, if you also feel you struggle with client hunting, consider this. If you're also wondering how you can increase your client conversion rate and their probability, what are the things you can do to close high-ticket clients? So hey, I'm Rifat. As a WordPress developer, I've been freelancing for the past 4+ years. And throughout my experience, I've worked with numerous international clients, local clients, companies, and brands. From my experience, we'll discuss that in this video. I'll share 10 techniques with you. I've divided these techniques into two parts. Some are mindset-based techniques and some are practical techniques. We'll cover both techniques in a sequence. One mindset-driven, one practical, and one mindset-driven throughout the video. Watch until the end of the video because all these techniques, whether mindset-driven or practical, will be extremely important and will help you close long-term retainers and high-paying clients. Let's start with technique number 1, which is a mindset technique, the numbers game. If you understand client handling deeply, it's a statistical game, not a game of personal rejection. But a lot of flyers don't approach this correctly. They'll send messages to 5, 10, 20 people, send cold DMs, and reach out. But because they don't get any replies or can't close any clients, they think there's something wrong with their outreach method, or perhaps their service, or the way they're pitching, and they start going down that rabbit hole. But instead, you have to understand that this is a numbers game. This means that not everyone will need your services, or not everyone will understand your prices, or you won't be an authority figure for everyone in that domain or service. Maybe the client already has a service provider they are completely happy and satisfied with, or maybe the client has certain constraints, such as they only work with agencies and not freelancers. If they reject you for any of these reasons, don't take it personally. You need to understand that the more clients you reach out to, the more chances you'll increase your conversion. Let me give you an example. When I started my career, I used to apply for different jobs in different freelancing groups through internal websites. That's where I initially got 4 clients. Sometime later, after 2 or 3 years, I was just like this. International was opening and I was checking how many places I had applied to. Do you know what the number was? I had applied to 400 places. That means after applying to 400 places and talking to them, I had only found 4 or 5 close clients. So it's completely a numbers game. Now, that number will gradually improve for you. As you pitch better, your services will improve. You'll understand how to charge in the market, how to negotiate with clients. All those things you'll keep developing over time. But ultimately, to increase your conversions, you need to increase the numbers, increase the frequency of your outreach. So, don't take rejections personally. Focus on volume, not validation, and treat it like a numbers game. Move on to technique number 2, which is a practical technique, the audit method. Now, what you need to do is record a screen recording video for whatever service you're selling, for clients you think might have potential, and for whom you want to reach out. I'll start with a website for example. So, suppose you're a website designer, a UX, UI designer, or a website developer, and you want to reach out to a startup founder or business owner. You want to create a website for them. So, what do you need to do? Turn on screen recording. You should be visible in it, and your screen should be visible. Now, you will specifically tell them what you will fix on their current website. That is, you will say, these are the things I can improve on this landing page. This will increase your chances of conversion. Or if you put this particular information in this section of the page, or maybe put the testimonial at the top, that will build trust. And by combining all those things, that business will be able to increase its chances of conversion with the customers. Then it's supposed to be a perfect pitch. Now, what did you do? You audited their current scenario and told them where they could improve. This will do two things. First, the client will be able to see your communication skills. This means they'll understand that you communicate well, that you understand the problem, and that you're genuinely interested in helping their business. That's why you took the time to do all the research, gathered all the information, and are making the client aware of it in your pitch. And second, they'll see you as an authoritative figure. This means that in their mind, you will be positioned as someone who can understand all these problems without being told. This means you have authority. This means you have good experience in that domain and can fix all these problems for the client. So, this audit method develops trust. Through this, the chances of client conversion increase. Move to technique number 3, which is again a mindset technique, the engagement first approach. Most freelancers reach out directly. That is, they'll write, I provide this particular service. You might need to use these services at these locations. This is my pricing. And if you're interested in getting work done from me, you can contact me at this location and we can take the conversation further. But this isn't the right approach because you haven't developed trust. You haven't built authority. The client doesn't know you. You're a complete stranger to them. So whenever you need to reach out to a client, start that entire process a month in advance. So you'll connect with them on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. You'll start commenting on their post, and through all of this, you'll gain visibility, which will develop your trust factor. Then, when you reach out, you won't be a stranger. Instead, they'll know that you've been interacting with their posts and content. You've known them for the past month or so and are on their radar. And then, when you pitch, they'll have the impression that you are serious and worth a chance. So, by adopting this engagement first approach, you'll develop trust, which will increase the chances of client conversion. Move to technique number 4, the value first approach. This is by default a practical technique. Let me explain. In this, you are showing the client firsthand how you can actually do their job. You've already provided them with value, and then you've made your ask, then you pitch them. So, just like in the audit method, we were auditing his entire current work and telling him where he could be improved. Here, in the value first approach, what you have to do is complete the work. For example, if you're a thumbnail designer and you want to work with me, you already created a thumbnail and sent it to me saying that your current thumbnail was missing these things. I think redesigning it this way could lead to a better CTR. So, here's a thumbnail I redesigned for you, and if you want, I can create more thumbnails like this for you. This is my pricing. If you want to contact me, you can do so here. Now, with this approach, I know exactly what's missing in my current work and how you can fix it. This again develops authority and builds trust. Now, if I have a requirement and I genuinely like your work and can deliver better results for me, I'll have no option but to refuse you. The important thing to keep in mind is that with this approach, while others might be sending generic messages, you'll be able to provide a specific solution to your client. However, it's also important to note that because it requires time and effort, you can't do this with everyone you reach out to. So, you'll need to identify those clients who can pay well and offer good working opportunities, those who have a high chance of converting, those who have good potential. Through them, you can unlock significant downstream revenue. You will only recommend this method to those specific clients. For the rest, Stick to the audit approach. Move to technique number 5. Again, a mindset technique, thinking beyond the platforms. What many people do, they think that freelancing websites are going to be their whole life. Meaning, they'll just go there and start applying. It's not coming today. They'll keep doing that for 10 to 15 days, 1 month or 2 months. They'll keep engrossed in that, and that will become their source of clients with full entity. But this isn't actually the right approach, because we all know how crowded freelancing platforms are these days. Whether it's Fiverr, Upwork or Freelancer, all these places are filled with world-class freelancers. So, competing with them can be very difficult, especially if you're a beginner. In your career, don't rely solely on those platforms. Start reaching out on your own. Reach out through different platforms so that your dependence doesn't become solely on freelancing platforms. Therefore, you need to think beyond platforms. Technique number 6 is local selling. Again, a practical technique. You shouldn't start your career with the idea that you'll only serve international clients. You'll only serve clients in the US and UK because they pay in dollars. This will generate significant revenue. A better, more practical approach would be to reach out to local businesses near your home that need your work. For example, if you're a photographer, you can visit cafes, restaurants, hotels, gyms, etc. near your home. You can visit them and ask them if they need your services. Even if you are a video editor, you can still talk to the same people because they have constant needs. Even if you are a social media manager, you can reach out to these people or to schools or to companies or businesses that operate near your home. They also need these services. And meeting them locally will ultimately increase your chances of conversion. Being physically with them will ultimately create more value than someone reaching out to them via email. So again, don't be in the restricted mindset that you only need to work with high-paying clients in the UK and US. Instead, reach out to local businesses near your home. The next mindset technique is multi-platform reach. What many people do is start reaching out to clients via email. And because they are only reaching out via email, it's unlikely that all of them check their emails regularly. Many are active on LinkedIn, many are active on Instagram, many are active on Twitter, and many are also active on email. Think from your perspective. Are you always available on all these platforms? Maybe not. Similarly, you need to think from the client's perspective and try to reach out to them on different platforms. So, you drop them a message on LinkedIn. You connected with them on Instagram and texted them. Perhaps, if you could find their email address, you also emailed them so they could see you on whatever platform they are active on. They can understand the services you are pitching and increase the chances of receiving a reply. Plus, reaching out on multiple platforms will increase your credibility in the client's mind. They'll feel that you are committed and serious about your work, which may increase your chances of converting. Now, the next practical technique is to balance short-term and long-term approaches. This means you need to adopt a holistic approach. You'll need to build a short-term method for reaching out to clients and a long-term method to achieve this. This will ultimately build your lead generation engine. Let me explain what that means. The short-term method is how you reach out to clients, whether it's via email, LinkedIn, Twitter, or any other platform, perhaps even through freelancing platforms. But that's a short-term approach. The longer you continue to reach out, the longer you'll keep closing clients. However, this approach isn't sustainable. So, simultaneously, you need to build a long-term solution, which is what I'm doing right now by creating my videos. Now, you don't necessarily need to make videos, but you do need to tell people about your work. Whether you do that on Twitter or through various posts, or by sharing the performance of your current clients on LinkedIn, you need to follow every method that will help build your brand, which will make you an authoritative figure in that particular domain and that particular service, and this will build a lead generation engine for you in the long term. So, you need to focus on short-term methods but also build long-term ones so that you can play a long-term freelance game. Now comes the ninth technique, which is again a mindset technique, strategic follow-ups. Many people hesitate to follow up with clients. They feel that if they follow up with the client or if they ask for work again after the conversation has ended, it will somehow position them in a desperate manner. It will seem as if they are desperate for work. That's why you're reaching out to clients again. But if you strategically build a positive mindset around follow-ups and know how to follow up correctly, that too can be a game changer. You've likely heard stories of people who consistently followed up with clients and ultimately found work. I personally experienced many such things. I've heard stories, and I don't hesitate to follow up with people either, because the reality is that people are busy. Sometimes messages get missed. Sometimes we think we need to reply, but it slips our mind. We get involved in something else, and then your messages and emails get lost in your inbox. This doesn't mean the client doesn't need those services. Therefore, every conversation that doesn't yield any results should always be followed up on 2 to 3 times. The first follow-up should be after 3 to 4 days, the second follow-up after a week, and the third follow-up after 2 weeks. But even after that, if there's still no response, then you have to notice and respect the client's boundaries. Perhaps they are not responding because they either don't need those services or don't find me suitable for them. But giving up before those 2 or 3 follow-ups is the wrong approach. Now, last but not least, again, the 10th practical technique is the referral game. A client can become not just a client, but a lead generation engine for you if you think about it and act appropriately. So, make it a habit to ask your clients on regular time frames if they know anyone who might need your services, or to acknowledge every time a client praises you and asks for a referral. This can always be very beneficial and unlock new opportunities for you. Now, since this idea won't automatically occur to the client, as it's not their concern to bring you a client, you'll need to mention it specifically. Therefore, you'll need to specifically state that expectation. Ask them if they know anyone in the same particular domain who might need your services during a casual conversation or at a time when the client is free. If you're happy with your work, they won't hesitate to refer you. A referral is the best way to close a client. Why? Because trust has already been developed through the person who's referring to you. Through them, the other person knows what kind of work you do and what your charges are. And all these steps need to be followed when you reach out to a client for the first time. But you can eliminate all these things. So, you don't need to get too involved in pricing or negotiation. You can demonstrate and explain the type of work you're offering through your current clients. And because someone has referred you, that trust is already developed. And that's why the chances of converting clients through referrals increase significantly. Therefore, always try to ask for referrals from your current clients. So, these were 10 techniques for client hunting, 5 mindset-based and 5 practical techniques. I personally use all of these techniques and have worked with many clients who were perhaps beyond my reach. And I genuinely feel that if you follow this, perhaps not all, but some of the things you feel you can implement in your career, you will definitely find help. Again, client hunting is a skill that develops over time. You gradually learn to communicate, you learn negotiation, you learn how to reach out, you understand which methods are working best for you. You'll face initial rejections. Some clients will even ghost you. But keep working on your technique, keep improving those skills, and ultimately increase your chances of conversion. Making freelancing a relevant career option for all of you is my mission through this channel. So this is me, Rifat Islam, taking your leave. Thanks for watching.